Right, afternoon guys, it's Jeff. I'm just going to make a short video about something this afternoon. Now, I was going to post a video, do an update on the Onision Joy Sparkle thing, just as follow up to that video I did yesterday, but because there's been some movement on that, but that's not why I'm making this video, and I might make one about that later, depends on how I feel. Now, so I apologise if in advance, right, if anyone can hear any noise in the background. That's just because I've got my fan blowing full belt in my room here, and the reason I've got my fan blowing in on full belt is here in the UK right now. It's bloody hot. It's hot. Maybe not to some parts of the world wouldn't consider this hot. I mean, but we've been getting temperatures of over 30 degrees Celsius the last few days, which it may not seem much to some people, but one thing about the UK was when we get this kind of heat, there's usually a lot of humidity with it. It's very sapping, very draining, and I work outside all day in it, so so it can be very trying, this kind of weather on the British actually. So that kind of leads me on to why I'm actually making this video, because I just read something today, and it's been in a whole load of national newspapers of all different sort of political leanings and so on. But this is a story that seems to be, everyone seems to agree, is bloody stupid. This thing. This is about a school in Hull, Kingswood Academy, who have sent home and are threatening to formally exclude 3 students for refusing to wear their blazers, which is part of their school uniform, and they took their blazers off because they were bloody hot. They're told to put it back on, they refused, they got sent home. Okay. Now, the school's position on this, and what I gather and what I've read about this, is they're allowed to take their blazers off in the classroom, but pretty much any other time they've got to be wearing the blazers, which is not very helpful if they're outside or in the corridors or anything where it's probably not air conditioned. I'd be very surprised if the classrooms are air conditioned. They certainly weren't when I was at school, but I know things have moved on. But yes, and then they said that they sent these kids home for being abusive and resistant, and abusive, I think, was the terms they used to when they were told to put their blazers back on. Now, to be honest, I was one of these kids, and it'd been me at school this probably is why I didn't go too far, because I did get into trouble for this type of school. I probably would have ended up getting sent home, because I would have told the teachers to get stuffed if they insisted to do that as well. I would have told them to go fuck themselves. The trouble is, I actually did on certain things before, and that's kind of what got me into trouble a bit when I was a kid. But I've where is there a bit of common sense here, though? In any of this, where is there common sense? Now, I've got a lot of friends who are in the teaching, profession. All good people, and they all do a good job. All nice people, But I gotta say something. This is the sort of crap that used to make me hate school when I was a kid. This is just the stupidity of this. It's the sort of thing that used to make me hate school. My school wasn't even that strict on uniforms in comparison. Mine were quite laid back, but there was still still things when there was absolute stupidity and no common sense used, and that's just what's happened here, I think. I read with one of these kids, they wanted to send him, because he was being resistant to doing this. They wanted to send him to this like room they call the consequences room, which is, I suppose, it's like a blooming detention room or something. I don't, it's probably a polite way of putting, it's a bloody detention room. Which apparently this room had no air conditioning, so they wanted him to go there, of course, with his blazer on as well. And the kid refused. I would have done. I say fair play to the kids refuse and to these idiots at these schools. Gross. Use some fucking common sense, will you? For goodness sake. Just simple common sense could have avoided this. I mean, it's got to be one of those ludicrous things I've read in ages, and I think every bloody newspaper that's covering this thinks this is absolutely stupid. But it's just like, it's like, no, this kind of weather, you insist on that. It's actually, it's a safety blooming concern in the weather like this. It genuinely is. I work outside. Okay, I work in this stuff. In this kind of heat. It's not nice. I'm in a job where we have to wear a uniform, but even with us, they're kind of a little bit tolerant and respectful of certain things this time of year. It's why they apply some supply us with some alternative uniform and that for the summer months and so on that we can use. Like shorts and that we don't normally. Just little things like that. But it's just like it's just this is just what used to frustrate me so much about schools in that time. When I was at school, it was just like, no, the rules and conformity are far more bloody important than any kind of common sense and reason. I'm sure, I expect these kids' lives are made miserable enough at bloody school. They're probably bored out of their minds most of the time. It's because that's the way school is a lot of time. I mean, it's a shame it's like that, because it should be a great experience, a great building experience and learning thing. But of course now it's and I went on this school's website to look them up, and they were saying about how they want to provide an environment which will make these kids really good human beings for the 21st century. How is this doing that? Seriously. Then of course you get onto the crux of it. They want to bragging about how they've got their league table numbers up in their statistics, which is all they bloody education system. And I can't even blame the schools for that. I've got to blame the bloody government and that for that, really, but sometimes just a bit of good sense is what is required. And this is ludicrous that they've sent these kids home from home and going to exclude them, and probably will put that on their records. It's a ludicrous thing to have done. It is absolutely ludicrous. Anyone from that blooming school of education ever watches this, you probably won't, but for goodness sake, do the right thing, reinstate these kids, and admit that you've been complete dickheads about this. You've been complete dickheads. Right, that's all I'm gonna say about it. It's unreal, this story. Okay. What I might come back with another video later if I can be actually asked to make one today, doing an update on the Joy and Esion thing. But for the meantime, I'll see you guys later. Right, salute.